Ladies and gentlemen, imagine for a moment that you're standing at the starting line of a race. The crowd is cheering, your heart is racing, and the finish line is in the distance. But before you take that first step, you stop and ask yourself, what does it really take to get to the finish line? Success, whether it's in your career, your relationships, your personal growth, or simply in life, can feel overwhelming. We're often told that success is about having the right connections, the right skills, or the right opportunities. But in reality, success is built on something far more fundamental. It's about mastering the basic fundamentals of life. In every field, the champions are not always the ones with the flashiest techniques or the most advanced tools. They are the ones who've spent years perfecting the basics. Think of the greatest athletes, the Michael Jordans, the Serena Williams, the Tom Bradys. Before they were legends, they focused on mastering the basics: footwork, ball control, endurance. They knew that no matter how far they went, their success would always rely on returning to the fundamentals. So today, I want to talk about what those basic fundamentals are and how they can transform your life. When we think about success, we often focus on the things we believe matter most: talent, luck, timing, and opportunity. And while those elements certainly play a role in shaping the path to success, there's one quality that stands above them all: the power of discipline. Discipline is the foundation on which everything else is built. It is the bridge between where you are today and where you want to go. Without discipline, all the talent, connections, and opportunities in the world will be useless, because at the end of the day, success is not a result of having everything handed to you, but a result of showing up consistently and putting in the work, even when the world feels like it's working against you. Discipline is the unsung hero of success. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it is incredibly powerful. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need to have the most natural talent. In fact, you don't even need to have all the resources or the most influential network. What you need is the ability to show up day after day, no matter how difficult it may seem. That's what separates those who succeed from those who fall short. Think about the story of J.K. Rowling. Long before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she was just another struggling writer. She was a single mother, living on welfare, facing rejection after rejection. In fact, her manuscript for Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone was rejected by 12 publishers before it was finally accepted. But what stands out in her story isn't just the fact that she was rejected time and time again. It's that she didn't let those rejections stop her. She didn't let the setbacks, the difficult circumstances, or the doubts that flooded her mind define her path. Instead, she showed up every day, committed to her writing, even when she didn't know how it would all turn out. Her story teaches us something critical about discipline. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about choosing to act, to move forward, even when you feel like you're not ready or the world around you feels uncertain. It's about waking up each day, committing to the work, and doing it again and again, no matter what. That consistency is what leads to success. Look at any field, any endeavor, any dream, and you'll find this truth: success doesn't happen overnight. The people who stand out in life aren't the ones who have the most spectacular breakthroughs. They're the ones who, despite the odds, show up every single day. They don't wait for things to get easier, and they don't wait for perfect conditions. They just keep working, refining, and improving. The difference between the dreamer and the achiever is discipline. Discipline is not about having extraordinary willpower. It's about making the choice to do the ordinary things consistently, even when no one is watching. It's about making the decision to do the work when it feels mundane, when it feels hard, or when you'd rather do anything else. It's about staying committed to your goals, no matter how long the road ahead may seem. There will be days when you won't feel like it. There will be days when you feel discouraged, exhausted, or even tempted to quit. But discipline is what drives you to keep going when the initial excitement fades, when the results aren't coming fast enough, and then when others have already given up. It's those small daily actions, those small choices to push through the hard times that compound over time into something far greater than you could ever imagine. So ask yourself, are you willing to show up even when no one else is watching? Are you willing to put in the work even when it feels like you're not making progress? Are you ready to build a life of success by mastering the fundamental power of discipline? Because the truth is, no one can do it for you. The road to success is paved with your commitment to the daily actions that will get you there. Remember, it's not about being perfect or having the perfect plan. It's about being consistent, putting in the work, and trusting that your efforts will pay off over time. When you can master this basic fundamental discipline, you'll find that success follows, not because of some magical formula, but because you made the choice to stick with it every single day. Success is rarely a straight line. It's not a simple path that you can walk with ease. It's more like a winding road full of unexpected bumps, detours, and roadblocks that seem to appear out of nowhere. It's easy to think that success is all about getting everything right the first time, that somehow you'll just reach your goal without having to deal with any setbacks. But the truth is, life doesn't work that way. In fact, success is rarely about avoiding failure altogether. It's about resilience, the ability to bounce back when life knocks you down. We've all faced challenges, whether big or small. We've all had moments when things didn't go the way we hoped, when we were met with obstacles that seemed insurmountable. But what separates those who ultimately succeed from those who don't is not the ability to avoid hardship, it's the ability to get back up after falling down, to keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. Resilience is what makes the difference. Think about Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors of all time. The story of Edison's persistence is often told, but it's a story that still resonates deeply because it reveals something crucial about success. Edison didn't have it easy. He failed thousands of times while working on the invention of the light bulb. Imagine that. Thousands of failures. Yet, when asked about all his failures, he didn't see them as defeats. Instead, he saw each one as a lesson. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of someone who understands resilience. Failure didn't define him, it educated him. It pushed him forward. It gave him the strength to continue when others would have quit. Edison's story is a powerful reminder that resilience is not about never failing. In fact, resilience is about embracing failure as part of the journey. Failure is not the end of the road. It's just one of many steps along the way. And yet, so many of us are taught to fear failure, to avoid it at all costs. We're conditioned to think that failure is something to be ashamed of, something that makes us less worthy. But what if we looked at failure differently? What if we saw failure as something to learn from, as something that helps us grow, as something that moves us closer to success? The people who succeed, who make it through the hard times, are not necessarily those with the most natural talent, the most resources, or the best timing. The people who succeed are the ones who keep going when the road gets tough. They are the ones who understand that obstacles aren't walls, they're opportunities to learn, adapt, and improve. Resilience doesn't mean that you don't feel pain or frustration. It means that even in the face of adversity, you choose to rise again. It's the decision to keep going when everything inside you says it's time to quit. We see this in so many examples throughout history. Think of Oprah Winfrey, who was fired from her first television job and told she wasn't fit for TV. Imagine how easy it would have been for her to give up, to believe that rejection was a sign that she wasn't good enough. But instead, she used those setbacks to fuel her journey. She learned from them, grew from them, and ultimately became one of the most influential women in the world. Or consider the story of Walt Disney, who was told he lacked creativity, that his ideas were too far-fetched. Can you imagine if he had listened to those critics and walked away from his dreams? But instead, he persisted. He kept pushing through failure after failure, rejection after rejection, until he created something that would change the world forever. Resilience is not something that happens overnight. It's a muscle you build over time. Every challenge you face, every failure you experience is an opportunity to strengthen that muscle. You won't become resilient by avoiding hardships, but by embracing them, learning from them, and choosing to keep moving forward. It's about becoming comfortable with discomfort, accepting that the road to success is full of bumps, and realizing that each one of those bumps is just a lesson waiting to be learned. The truth is, you will encounter obstacles. You will face times when things don't go as planned. There will be moments when it feels like everything is falling apart, and you will want to quit. But remember this, resilience is not about being invincible. It's about being human, about accepting that failure is a part of life and that every time you fall, you have the power to rise again. So the question is, will you rise? Will you embrace the discomfort, learn from it, and let it propel you toward success? Will you choose resilience even when it feels like the world is against you? Because success is not about avoiding failure. It's about getting back up every time you fall. And that's the power of resilience. One of the most overlooked truths in life is the power of consistency. We often talk about success in terms of talent, luck, or even intelligence, but what if I told you that the real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simply the willingness to keep going day after day, regardless of how you feel or the obstacles in your way? Think about it for a moment. In the world of fitness, for example, we don't see results overnight. If it were only about going to the gym for hours or making a drastic change in one day, we'd all be fit in no time. But the truth is, the people who make the most progress are not necessarily the ones who show up and try to change everything in one go. They're the ones who show up consistently day in and day out, even when it's hard. Even when they're tired, even when they don't feel like it, they make that choice to show up again. Consistency isn't about making grand gestures or huge leaps. It's about doing the little things every day, over and over again. It's about putting in the work, no matter how small it seems, because those small, repeated actions compound over time and lead to big results. When it comes to fitness, success isn't about going to the gym for 5 hours a day or transforming your body in a week. It's about the steady, incremental improvement that happens when you make the decision to show up regularly. It's about the days when you don't feel like it, but you go anyway. This idea of consistency doesn't just apply to physical fitness. It's a principle that stretches into every area of life, your career, your relationships, your personal growth, your business, and even your mental health. Success doesn't happen in a flash. It's not about one breakthrough moment. It's about the consistent effort over time. It's about the quiet, sometimes unseen work that gets done every single day, even when there's no immediate reward. Take Warren Buffett, for instance, one of the most successful investors of all time. Buffett didn't amass his fortune by chasing after quick wins or betting on risky stocks that promised immediate rewards. He built his wealth slowly, steadily by making consistent, disciplined investments over decades. His success wasn't the result of a single brilliant move, it was the result of thousands of small, smart decisions made over time, consistently choosing to invest, stay patient, and remain disciplined. In fact, he once said that the secret to his success wasn't about being smarter than anyone else, but about consistently doing the right thing over and over again, even when it was hard and even when others were distracted by the flashy, short-term opportunities. Consistency, more than any grand strategy or momentary success, is what has made Warren Buffett a household name. It's not just that he made smart decisions, it's that he made them consistently. Over time, those decisions compounded and created the enormous success he has today. And the best part is you don't have to be a billionaire to benefit from the power of consistency. In fact, you might be surprised at how much success can come from the small, consistent actions in your own life. Think about the relationships you have, whether with a partner, a friend, or a family member. The most successful relationships are built not on grand gestures or fleeting moments of passion, but on the daily choices we make. It's in the small, consistent acts of love, trust, and care that build a strong foundation for long-lasting relationships. It's in the everyday actions that show you care. Listening when they speak, showing up when they need you, and being present in the little moments. The same goes for your career. It's not about finding the one big break that will change everything. It's about showing up every day, doing your job well, and continuously improving. It's about consistently seeking to learn and grow, even when the work feels mundane or repetitive. It's about staying disciplined in your pursuit of excellence, even when it feels like no one is noticing or when the results aren't immediate. Over time, that consistency adds up, and you'll find yourself in a place you once thought was impossible. But there's also an emotional side to consistency. It's not always easy. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. There will be days when you want to quit, when you feel like the progress is too slow, when the finish line feels too far away. On those days, consistency is what will carry you through. It's the commitment to the process, the understanding that success is built not on moments of perfection, but on the dedication to keep going, even when it feels like nothing is changing. We are all capable of so much more than we give ourselves credit for. But the key to unlocking that potential lies in showing up every single day. It's in the choice to do the work, no matter how small the task might seem. The path to success is not paved with one grand achievement, but with hundreds, even thousands of small steps. Each one of those steps, done consistently, will lead you to the results you desire. So, ask yourself, are you willing to keep going day after day? Are you willing to choose consistency over shortcuts, discipline over distractions, and small actions over big, temporary results? Because in the end, the power of consistency will always be the driving force behind long-lasting success. We all have those moments. Moments when self-doubt creeps in, when we question whether we're truly capable of achieving the things we set out to do. Maybe it's in the midst of a big challenge, or maybe it's when the weight of failure seems too much to bear. In those moments, it can feel as though our dreams are just out of reach, and the path to success seems too difficult to navigate. But here's the thing, success is rarely determined by the circumstances we face, and it's not even about our abilities alone. More often than not, success is determined by one thing: the mindset we choose to adopt. Our mindset shapes how we view the world, how we respond to challenges, and most importantly, how we see ourselves. Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University, has spent years researching this very concept, and her work has completely transformed how we understand success. Through her research, Dweck identified two primary mindsets: the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Those with a fixed mindset believe that their abilities and intelligence are fixed traits. They think that they're born with certain talents, and if they don't have those talents naturally, then success is simply out of their reach. When faced with challenges, those with a fixed mindset often give up easily because they believe that failure is a reflection of their innate inability. They tend to avoid situations where they might fail because it challenges their belief that they are either good enough or not. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset see things differently. They believe that their abilities are not fixed. They believe that with effort, learning, and perseverance, they can improve and develop their skills. For those with a growth mindset, failure is not a sign of inadequacy. Instead, it's seen as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. They understand that setbacks are part of the journey, not an end to the journey. This distinction in mindset can make all the difference. The people with a growth mindset are more likely to face challenges head-on because they don't view failure as a reflection of their worth. Instead, they view it as part of the process, a stepping stone on the way to success. Because of this belief, they are more resilient, more persistent, and ultimately more likely to achieve their goals. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was famously cut from his high school basketball team, but instead of giving up, he used that moment as motivation to work harder, to improve, and to prove himself. If he had adopted a fixed mindset, he might have believed that being cut from the team was a sign that he wasn't good enough. But instead, he embraced the growth mindset, and that mindset drove him to work tirelessly and ultimately become one of the most successful athletes in history. We've all heard the phrase, "what you think you become." And it's not just a cliche, it's a powerful truth. Your mindset shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you believe that success is possible for you, if you cultivate the belief that you can learn, grow, and adapt, you will find a way to push forward, even when things get tough. On the flip side, if you allow self-doubt and negative thoughts to dominate your mind, if you believe that failure defines you and that your abilities are fixed, you will find it much harder to move toward your goals. This is the power of mindset. It's not about what happens to you, but about how you choose to interpret what happens to you. It's not about avoiding failure or setbacks, but about your ability to see those setbacks as opportunities for growth. Take the example of Thomas Edison once again. As he worked tirelessly to invent the light bulb, he encountered failure after failure. He could have easily given up. He could have said to himself, "I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I don't have the right mind for invention." But he didn't. Instead, he saw every failure as a lesson. He embraced the idea that each setback was not a sign of his inability, but a sign that he was learning and growing. He believed that his success was not predetermined, but something that could be shaped through persistence and effort. That mindset led to one of the greatest inventions in history. This is the reality we face every day. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't often isn't about talent or intelligence. It's about the mindset that drives them forward. If you believe you can improve, if you believe you can overcome obstacles, you will find ways to succeed. But if you limit yourself by thinking you can't, you're closing the door on your potential before you even begin. The key to unlocking your potential lies in the mindset you choose to adopt. If you choose to believe that your abilities are flexible and that growth is always possible, you will be unstoppable. You will face challenges with courage, learn from your failures, and continually improve. But it all begins with your mindset. So ask yourself, what kind of mindset are you cultivating? Are you limiting yourself with doubts and negative beliefs? Or are you embracing the growth mindset that allows you to learn, grow, and overcome anything that stands in your way? Because the truth is, your mindset is the first step toward the success you're seeking. And once you believe you can, there's nothing stopping you. Success without purpose is like a house built on sand. It may look impressive for a while, but it will crumble under the slightest pressure. You can achieve all the wealth, fame, or accomplishments in the world, but without something deeper to ground them, they will leave you feeling empty, unfulfilled, and adrift. In fact, many people who seem to have everything from the outside still struggle with this internal emptiness because they've achieved success without a purpose to guide them. Purpose is what gives true meaning to success. It's the North Star that helps you navigate through challenges, keep your eyes on the horizon, and persevere when the road gets tough. Take Steve Jobs as a prime example. Jobs didn't create Apple simply to make money or to be recognized as a successful entrepreneur. He had a vision, a deep sense of purpose that drove him to innovate and revolutionize the tech industry. His purpose was to make technology accessible and useful in ways that would genuinely change the world. He believed that technology should not just be functional, but should also enhance the lives of individuals, be beautiful, and create a seamless experience for users. That purpose fueled everything he did, and it sustained him through countless challenges. It was this passion and sense of purpose that gave him the resilience to push through setbacks, failures, and the inevitable doubts that arise when pursuing something bold and disruptive. Steve Jobs didn't create Apple just to build a company. He created it to fulfill a deeper need, a need he felt could transform the way people interact with the world around them. When he was ousted from the company he founded, it would have been easy to give up, to walk away and say it wasn't meant to be. But instead, he kept pushing forward because his purpose was much larger than any single company or financial goal. His purpose was about changing the way people lived and worked, and he believed in it with such intensity that it carried him through even the darkest moments of his career. This is the power of purpose. When you have a clear, meaningful purpose, it becomes the fuel that drives you forward even when everything else seems to be falling apart. It gives you a reason to wake up every morning and keep going, even when the challenges seem insurmountable. It transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary because every task, every effort becomes part of something larger than just the work itself. Purpose turns the mundane into something worth doing, even when it's difficult, even when it feels like no one is watching, and even when the results are not immediate. The truth is, no one can sustain long-term success without purpose. Look at the athletes who've reached the peak of their careers. Many of them, after retiring, experience a deep sense of loss. Their purpose, the driving force behind their years of training and performance, is gone. Without that sense of purpose, their success begins to feel hollow. They've achieved greatness, but without a deeper meaning behind it, they struggle to find fulfillment once the cheers stop. But those who carry their purpose beyond their careers often thrive in new ways, applying that same sense of mission to new ventures, new opportunities, and new opportunities. Purpose doesn't just give you the will to keep going when times are tough, it also clarifies your direction. It helps you make decisions that align with your values, which makes everything you do feel authentic. Imagine waking up every day knowing exactly why you're doing what you're doing. The clarity and focus that come from having a strong sense of purpose make it easier to prioritize, to stay disciplined, and to make tough decisions. Purpose eliminates the noise and distractions, helping you cut through the confusion and stay committed to the things that matter most. When you're clear on your purpose, it's like having a guiding light. The inevitable setbacks and challenges become easier to navigate because you have a solid foundation to lean on. It's the why behind your actions that propels you forward, even when the how feels difficult or uncertain. You don't need to have everything figured out, but knowing why you're doing it will give you the strength to push through. But look at the work being done by individuals and organizations that are driven by a clear sense of purpose. They're not just looking for a paycheck or recognition. They're striving to make a difference, to solve a problem, or to serve others in a meaningful way. Their work matters because it's rooted in something that's much bigger than themselves. It's the sense of purpose behind the work that allows them to continue showing up day after day, no matter the obstacles in their way. This is why purpose is not just a luxury, it's essential. It's what turns a career into a calling. It's what turns a job into a passion. When you align what you do with your sense of purpose, success becomes not just a goal to be reached, but a journey that you're proud to be on. So ask yourself, what is your purpose? What drives you beyond the accolades and the achievements? When you have purpose, you have everything you need to keep moving forward, no matter what stands in your way. Purpose is not just about achieving something, it's about achieving something that truly matters to you. And that is the success that will fill your life with meaning every single day. As we reflect on the core principles that drive success, discipline, resilience, consistency, mindset, and purpose, we begin to see a common thread that runs through them all. These are not just abstract concepts. They are not things we can rely on others to provide for us or things that happen by chance. No, they all begin with you. You are the architect of your own success. Every step you take, every choice you make shapes your future. And the most incredible part of it all, it starts with the basics. It starts with you deciding to take action, to build something meaningful from the ground up. Success is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's not about waiting for the stars to align or for everything to fall into place effortlessly. Success is about getting up each day, regardless of how tough life might get, and committing to mastering the fundamentals. It's about embracing the process, understanding that the road ahead is rarely smooth or straight, but knowing that every small step you take, no matter how insignificant it may seem at the time, is a step closer to your goal. Success is not a lightning strike, it's a steady accumulation of small, purposeful actions. Think about it. When you set a goal, whether it's to get in shape, build a career, or improve your relationships, you're not going to reach that goal by hoping for a miracle or by expecting everything to magically fall into place. You reach it by mastering the basics. You master discipline to ensure you stay focused and consistent. You cultivate resilience to push through the inevitable setbacks. You embrace the grind of consistency, knowing that each day you show up, you're one step closer to where you want to be. You develop the mindset that helps you overcome doubts and stay on course. And perhaps most importantly, you identify the purpose that drives you, giving you the fuel to keep going when the challenges feel overwhelming. Look at your life right now. Reflect on where you are and where you want it to be. What basic fundamentals do you need to master to move closer to your own version of success? Is it the discipline to stay focused on your goals, even when distractions pull at you? Is it building the resilience to bounce back when things don't go your way? Is it committing to the small, consistent actions that will lead to long-term results? Or perhaps it's shifting your mindset, learning to embrace failure as part of the process instead of a reason to quit. Maybe you need to define a clearer sense of purpose, something that drives you and gives meaning to every step you take. The truth is, the path to success is rarely a straight line. It's often messy, filled with obstacles, and sometimes it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But even in those moments when it feels like you're not making progress, remember that you're still moving. Every effort counts. Every small victory, no matter how small it may seem, adds up. And as long as you're mastering the basics, you're building something far greater than the destination itself. You're building the character, strength, and resilience that will carry you through life, no matter what challenges come your way. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who fall short often comes down to the willingness to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep working on the fundamentals. And the beautiful thing about this is that it's in your hands. You have the power to decide what kind of life you want to build, what kind of success you want to achieve. It doesn't matter where you're starting from or what obstacles you're facing right now. If you commit to mastering the basics, day in and day out, you will get there. And it's not just about reaching the finish line. It's about the person you become along the way. It's about building a life that's not just successful in terms of achievements or accolades, but rich in meaning and fulfillment. When you master the fundamentals, when you live a life of discipline, resilience, consistency, mindset, and purpose, you don't just achieve your goals, you become someone who can sustain success. You become someone who understands that true success is not just about the destination, but about the journey and how you show up each and every day. So I challenge you to take a moment right now to reflect on your own life. What fundamentals do you need to master? What action can you take today, no matter how small, that will move you closer to the person you want to become and the success you want to achieve? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take action now. Make a decision to show up, to be disciplined, to embrace resilience, to stay consistent, to shift your mindset, and to commit to your purpose. Because when you commit to mastering the basics, you will see that success is not just possible, it's inevitable. And in the process, you will become the person who not only achieves great things, but does so with a sense of meaning, fulfillment, and purpose that will carry you through every challenge and make the journey worth every step. Thank you.